extracted deuterium that we have in the oceans, we would have energy enough to give everybody in the world the same energy consumption that we have in the United States. Everybody in the world would have that energy consumption. And my calculations show it would last something like 2 million years. 2 million years before we'd run out of deuterium. Therefore we wouldn't need oil if this worked. And that's why I think it's important, is that it's what the sun does, it's what God or nature does to produce energy, fusion. And if we can do it on Earth, then the energy problem is solved for many, many generations. Probably longer than we're going to be on Earth. And if we can do it on Earth, then the energy problem is solved. And if we can do it on Earth, then the energy problem is solved. And if we can do it on Earth, then the energy problem is solved. The energy problem is solved. The energy problem is solved. The energy problem is solved.
cold fusion is not very recognised and encouraged in most of the world, with the exception of Israel, is that it's very expensive and it's very it's still relatively new in the rest of the world, and like most new things, people are sceptical and scared to try new things, so it's not widely backed. Whereas Israel, where the culture is completely different, where people are very enthusiastic about backing new things and new ideas, and they're not afraid to try new methods, it's very encouraged in Israel. And the other unique thing about Israel is that science and research is very well funded in Israel, unlike other countries. So the government are prepared to back it, whereas in other countries, because of its expense, they're not so enthusiastic about it. And also, don't forget that cold fusion is a serious rival to oil. So, and governments make a lot of money out of oil in tax revenues and various other things. So the governments in the rest of the world are very hesitant to try and go with cold fusion because it will vastly reduce government tax revenue. That's from a political point of view, but scientifically speaking, cold fusion is probably the most promising chance for clean and efficient energy production in the future.
If you can do cold fusion, if you can get alternative sources of energy, like if you can make solar really work or whatever, you can solve a lot of the problems in the world. So it's, and since I do a lot of progressive politics, one scientific breakthrough can really do more than all the politicking in the world, you know, when it comes down to it, if you can get it done. So.
No, there's no argument. I say cold fusion sounds interesting, but apparently it hasn't. There have not been widespread reports of repeated experiments, and I don't know of any other labs that have repeated the experiment except Pons and Fleischmann and the guy that Dave sat next to when he flew back from Hawaii.
Dr. Melvin Miles.
Dr. Melvin Miles, yeah. Who I have yet to meet.
How many times have you repeated the experiment?
Oh, I've done about 90, I guess, close to 100 experiments, about 95 experiments. And a lot of them didn't work because if you don't have the right plating material, you don't get any excess heat. So out of about 95 experiments, I've had about 32, 33 that gave this effect, about 1/3. And when you have the right material, and when I pick this material, then my success rate goes way up. I think this has worked every time except once, which is about 9, I've only done it about 10 times, but 9 times out of 10 it worked, gave excess heat. And the one sample that didn't, I could see a flaw in the material. It's very hard material, and they have to make a rod out of it, they have to swage it, and they have a big folded over area that kind of act like a big crack. And it's known if you have a crack where you don't get a good electric field and good electrochemistry going on, then that can be a means for the deuterium to escape. And so there'd be no contamination, no pollution, no global warming effects, no brown smog from nitrogen oxides. It would be very clean.